All right, this is in the supplemental packet. I think this is page 8. Let me go back a page here. That's page 6. This is page 7. So starting in page 7, I'll take a little, do a little bit of notes here, and then show you how to multiply matrices together. So this sentence right here says if you're going to multiply two matrices, the numbers of columns. So this word should be columns here. In the first matrix must equal the number of rows in the second. So before you multiply matrices together, you're going to see if they can be multiplied together. So here A is a 2 by 1, and B is a 1 by 2. So basically, you're seeing if these numbers equal to each other, and they do. So both of these are 1. And when I multiply these two together, I'm going to get the dimensions are going to be the outside two numbers. So first I check that these two numbers match. The number of columns in matrix A equals the number of rows in B. So yes, those can be multiplied. And then C, the dimensions of C is 3 by 2. And the dimensions of B is 1 by 3. So because these columns does not match this row here, 2 doesn't equal 1, then this answer is no here. Those can't be multiplied together. So here's some examples. So A is a 2 by 1, and B is a 1 by 2. So these two match, and what I'm going to end up is with a 2 by 2. So, and then the way we multiply is we multiply the rows times the columns. So 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. And then we sum the products, but there's only one product here, 2 times negative 5. And then 2 times 7 is 14. And then 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. And 3 times 7 is 21. So notice that when these two match, then the dimensions of the result of multiplying is a 2 by 2. Here we got a 2 by 2 as a result. So I do row times column, and then sum the products. Row times column. So 2 times negative 5, 2 times 7, 3 times negative 5, 3 times 7. So it gets more complicated when these two numbers are not 1. So let's take a look at this one here. So X is a 2 by 2, and Y is a 2 by 3. And so notice that these two numbers match. So I'm going to end up with a 2 by 3. So on this first example here, I'm going to show you everything I'm multiplying together. So it's going to be 7 times 3 plus 0 times 5. So I took this first row times this first column. And then this first row times the second column. So 7 times negative 3 plus 0 times 4. And let me erase this here. So I can make this a little bigger. So let me erase this bracket here. And then the last uh, column here will be 7 times 6 plus 0 times -2. All right, and I'm going to end up with 2 by 3. Here's my first row. My second row is going to be 5 times 3 plus 3 times 5. And then 5 times -3 plus 3 times 4. And then the last entry here would be 5 times 6 plus 3 times -2. So this is a little bit messy if I just write it all out. So you can do this, some of this in your head. So in other words, how multiply and then add these two things. So this is 21 plus 0. So in other words, I do 21 plus 0, which is 21. And then -21 plus 0 would be -21. And then 42 plus 0 is 42. And then 15 plus 15 is 30. And -15 plus 12 is -3. And finally, 30 plus -6 is 24. So notice that these two numbers match, and I end up with 2 by 3. So 2 rows and 3 columns for the result there. Let me slide down here a little bit. All right, so this is the only example here that I'm going to write all the products out that I'm adding together. So let's look at this one. This is a 2 by 2, and I'm multiplying by 2 by 3. So once again, it's like this other example here, the example I just did. So these two numbers match. I'm going to end up with a 2 by 3. So I'm going to do 3 times 2 is 6, and then plus -18. So maybe I'll just write out the products here and what products I'm summing together there. 6 plus -18. And then 18 plus 15. And then 3 plus -12. And then the next row, 12 plus 18. And 36 plus -15. And the final entry would be 6 plus 12. So the entries I have, if I do this math here, -12, 18 and 15, 33, 3 plus -12, -9, 12 plus 18 is 30, 36 minus 15 would be 21, and 6 plus 12 is 18. Okay, so there's a little song that one teacher made up that says, since retired from Rockville, she made up a song, row by column, multiply them line by line. Sum the products, form a matrix. Now you're doing it just fine. So it's sung to the tune of Clementine. Most of you probably uh, never heard that song, but when I was growing up, there used to be a cartoon called Deputy Dog, and he would sing that song all the time. So once again, row by column, multiply them line by line. Sum the products, form a matrix. Now you're doing it just fine. So you just have to remember that when you're adding or subtracting, you add or subtract the corresponding entries, but when you multiply, you're multiplying the rows times the columns, and then you're finding products there, and then you're summing them together to get the result. So this last one, so any square matrix, in other words, if the rows match the columns, so if I multiply any square matrix together, here's a 2 by 2, here's a 2 by 2, and everything matches here. Whoops. Let me undo that. And this is also a 2 by 2. Let me get the pen here. So these two numbers match, and then the outside numbers are also 2 by 2. So I'm going to get a 2 by 2. So once again, I'll just write the products and sum them together. 3 plus -4, and then -9 plus -1, and -3 plus -12, and the final one would be a 9 plus 4. So now if I just do the math here, it's -1, -10, -15, and 13. All right, let me do the next page also, and then I'm going to stop this video so I can break it up a little bit into shorter videos. So multiplying here. So here's a 2 by 2, multiplied by a 2 by 2. So I have -9 plus -6 and 12 plus -16. And down here, -15 plus -10. And finally 20 plus -20. So if I add those together, that should be a -8. I don't know what I did there. So -9 plus -8 is -17. And this entry should be 12 minus 16, which is -4. And then -15 plus -10 is -25. And the final entry, positive 20 minus 20 is 0. And then here, this is a 3 by 2, and then a 2 by 2. So these center numbers match. I'm going to end up with a 3 by 2. So -5 times -5 is 25, plus -3 And then 30 plus 0. The next row would be 25 plus negative 15 let's make this more like a 30 here. Looks like a 36. And then 30 plus 0. And then the last row, negative 30 plus 15 and negative 36 plus 0. So I get 22, 30, 10, 30, and negative 15 and negative 36. Here I have a 2 by 3, and this is a 2 by 2, so this is undefined. You cannot multiply these. And here I have a 2 by 3 multiplied by a 3 by 2. So I'm going to get a 2 by 2. So 0 plus 20 plus 0. And then 0 plus 0 plus 0. And the next row, 24 plus negative 16 plus 0. And negative 36 plus 0 plus 0. So 20, 0, and this is a 0 here. So 24 minus 16, this would be a plus 0. This is an 8. And then negative 36 plus 0 plus 0 is negative 36. All right, 5 and 6 here. 2 by 2 and a 2 by 3. So that will work. I'm going to end up with a 2 by 3. So negative 18 plus 0, negative 15 plus 0, and 15 plus 0. And then the next row, 30 plus negative 15, 25 plus 0, and negative 25 plus 15. Negative 18, negative 15, and positive 15. Let me undo that. A little closer. And the second row is going to be 15, 25, and -10. And here we have a 1x3 and a 3x2. So you can get a 1x2. So -3 plus 16 plus 15. And let me erase this here. The other entry is going to be -12 plus -12. Oh, that's -16. All right. Plus 18. So adding these together, 16 and 15 is 31 minus 3 is 28. And then -28 plus 18 is -10. Okay, so that's page 7 and 8. I'm going to stop the video here, and then I'm going to post that.